Do they admit when they don't know something? Or do they always act like they have all the answers? Because I don't trust that. What do you need to know to be good at B2B marketing? And how can you tell if somebody else is actually good at what they do when they're a marketer? Somebody asked me this exact question on Mastodon the other day. They said, as you can see on my screen, for a lot of jobs, like in healthcare, you can look at a body of knowledge and skills and tell what you need to know and what you need to practice in order to be good at your job, right? But what is the equivalent for B2B marketing? And more importantly, how do you work out if a given marketer is actually any good? How do I tell the difference between a deeply skilled knowledge worker versus a person who kind of just knows how to use a marketing tool? It's hard, it's relevant, we all deal with it. We wonder if we're good marketers ourselves. We're probably evaluating other marketers all the time. If you're hiring people for your own company or for your marketing team, or if you're outsourcing and you're trying to evaluate a freelancer or an agency or consultant, or if you're just working with other marketers and you want to know if you should believe their advice. I think the answer here is not actually intuitive. My answer is probably different from yours, but this is how I think about it. I've never studied marketing. I haven't. I've never taken a marketing class in college. I've never taken a proper licensing professional marketing class. Sure, I've taken an online course here and there, did something on LinkedIn Learning. I think I did something on Coursera back in the day. I think I might have a certificate, but I didn't really learn much. Most of my marketing knowledge comes from just things I've transferred from other fields, practice and working in the field, and then reading a lot, books, guides, articles, social media posts, talking to a lot of people, listening to podcasts, and just trying to soak things up as a sponge, right? I don't know what a marketing curriculum could look like. You might know better than me, but I don't. So this is based on my experience as somebody who learned on the job and is now, I think, pretty decent at it. I want to start with how I actually judge if a marketer is good, because I do actually think about that all the time. So much of it is hard to say, but I do look for kind of a balance of things. How much do they seem like they're just trying to make themselves look good and maybe sell you something or grow their platform, but seem like an expert at the expense of actually being a normal human? Do they admit when they don't know something? Or do they always act like they have all the answers? Because I don't trust that. And can they explain why things work? This is the difference between being somebody who can cook based on a recipe that they've pulled from somewhere else and following all the steps and getting the exact ingredients and doing things bit by bit, and an actually good cook or even a professional chef who knows why things work. They know what to change out. They know where to make changes to still get the outcome that they want, because they understand the fundamental principles that make something taste good or not. And that's the same thing for marketing. Do you know why things are effective? Do you know why something resonated? Do you know why one marketing campaign actually did benefit your business and achieve your business goals and bring you leads and the other one didn't? Do you know who you're talking to? There's a lot of questions there. And I think that you want to have that fundamental understanding. And I tend to look for that in other marketers when I speak with them. My list of what you need to know is pretty long. You'll start noticing that I'm not actually mentioning marketing channels, and I'm not actually mentioning specific tools or frameworks. I'm not even talking much about fields, because I think that you can always pick up another channel, right? If you know how to do LinkedIn, you will learn how to do Twitter if you have to, or these days, Mastodon or Reddit or Instagram or whatever, right? And if you know how to use Ahrefs, you'll probably figure out how to use Ubersuggest. You can learn those things. You can pick them up, you can read a guide, you can watch a video, take some practice, but you can do that. The fundamentals, though, of how to think about things, how to know what works, how to know what questions to ask, that is hard. That is hard to teach, that is hard to learn. It's a little ineffable, but it's at the core of everything. So the way I've described it is, you need to know how B2B buying processes typically work. B2B is more complicated than B2C. Sometimes the person who's going to be using your product or service is not the one making the buying decision. Other times, they have to get multiple levels of approvals from other people too. Or maybe the buying decision is being made by a committee of people across multiple functions and departments within a company. You need to understand this in order to know how to target and convince these people and understand why something might not have resonated with one group or another. You also should understand what is the status quo. What are things like right now? Because if you know what everybody else is doing, if you know what people like and don't like, and often there's something everybody's annoyed with, but nobody's bothered to change it, then you know how to differentiate yourself from that status quo. But you gotta know the rules before you can break them. You should know some psychology. This is why I really like what Caitlin Borgoyne is doing at Customer Camp, talking about behavioral heuristics, how we actually make decisions, what convinces people to buy or not. You need to understand these things. You need to understand why people buy, why people have objections. You also need to understand how to communicate a message, what questions people have, what are they looking for, what makes them click on something, what makes them read something, what makes them retain something. And obviously, you need to understand how to clearly communicate. So much of marketing is making sure that the right message reaches the right people, but you need to know what that right message is and how to actually tell people things in a way that they will understand what you're trying to tell them. Then you need to know methods for doing research. In marketing, things change all the time. As an agency owner, I'm constantly working with clients who make different products or offer different services, or who might work in slightly different verticals or with slightly different types of clients. So I have to pick things up pretty quickly. But even if you don't work at an agency like I do and you work in-house, you still need to keep up with, first of all, any changes in the competitive landscape or what your competitors are doing or what new types of alternatives are arising. You need to understand the lives of your buyers and what they're concerned with and trends in their industries. You need to keep up with new tools or channels when they pop up, and they will pop up. You should also understand how to ask questions and interview people. You're not going to have all the answers, so you got to know how to find them on the internet, and you got to know how to find them when you've got an expert who does have the answer on the other end talking to you via email, via call, on the other side of a coffee table. You need to know how to get the right information by asking the best questions, and how to find, analyze, and understand an audience and their preferences. If you're marketing digitally, online, in any way, shape, or form, you need to figure out how to resonate with the people you're trying to reach. If you're making a blog post, if you're running an ad, what will they actually want to engage with? What would they want to look at? What would they want to pay attention to? And what would actually make them trust you and make them remember your brand and think that if they're looking for something like the solution that you offer, you would be the right party to deliver it to them? That means a lot of audience research. It's not easy. How to align marketing and business goals. We're all complaining about budgets. We've got people in other departments telling us, why did your marketing not do anything? But we need to understand this. We need to be able to work backwards from a business goal or a revenue goal and turn that into a marketing objective and KPI, or how to translate marketing KPIs and successes into a language that is understandable for people who are not marketers. To understand the difference between strategy, why you're doing something, and tactics, how you're doing something. And as I mentioned before, I think the meta skills are what's so much more important than the specifics. You can always find the specifics, you can always learn them. I don't think that's a prerequisite. I would hire any day of the week somebody with all the meta skills, even if they've never touched marketing before somehow, over somebody that knows all the recent tools and developments but doesn't know the underlying reasons for why they function and can't translate that current knowledge to a change in circumstances or a new tool. If you want to be a good marketer, you need to get really, really good at understanding people and at understanding people in relation to their online behavior and trust and buying preferences. You need to know why people buy things, you need to know why people look at things, and you need to know how to connect the two. It's hard, it changes, but ultimately, if you focus on these core skills, you'll be a lot more resilient, you'll be a lot more able to adapt quickly, and your job security will probably be fine, even if ChatGPT gets a lot smarter, because ChatGPT can't really pick up a lot of these meta skills. So if you're thinking about job security, if you're thinking about becoming a better marketer or evaluating if somebody is a good marketer, I hope this was helpful. All right, bye-bye.